there. But since we do have a little bit of time, let's get into something that's a little bit more serious, if we will, since we have the three of us here currently. Uh, Deshaun Watson's sentence was handed down by Judge Sue Robinson for the allegations against him, and he ended up with a 6-game suspension for this year. Delilah, I'll start with you. Your thoughts?
So I'm going to follow what happened and why the judge made the decision. And mind you, the issue with Deshaun Watson is these allegations happened in Texas, and the Texas Attorney General decided not to pursue and prosecute because, according to the Attorney General, right, in Texas, there wasn't enough evidence. So even though all the women came forward, which over 30, obviously something's fishy, but for some reason, the Attorney General in Texas decided that all of those cases, they didn't have enough to prosecute and charge him with an actual crime. And so we have to understand is as her, and that's coming from me as a woman, right? As messed up as it is, he wasn't charged with a crime. These were all civil lawsuits, meaning these were
Right,
all
correct.
women who because they couldn't find through the prosecution, right? They couldn't get him prosecuted that way. They were like, well, I'm going to hit him in the pockets, right? Because that does happen, by the way, more often than people think, not just in these cases, but a lot of times criminal cases don't go forward because the attorney general, who was in charge of that, the prosecutor, they don't have enough evidence. And so what a lot of people do who have been hurt or feel like they've been injured is that they go the lawsuit route, right? And where
Yeah.
they can feel that at least they could get some sort of compensation. I don't think people remember O.J. Simpson. He was found out
Oh,
guilty. So even though he was
right.
prosecuted, he was found out guilty. But her
Yep.
family decides to sue and he's still paying them, right? So again,
Well,
oftentimes when people don't find the means through the legal system, they decide to go this way. And so all those
right.
lawsuits were handled. Apparently, every single one of them are gone. The ones in Texas, because they're also, by the way, the lawsuits were against the Texas organization too.
Right.
And so all the lawsuits have been settled between Deshaun Watson and all the women came forward, but also the ones in Texas. And so that is
Right.
why the judge said that there was some misconduct, but following the lay of the law, because there wasn't actually anything that can physically or has been actually put on him to charge him with
Right.
something. So that's why it was
Right.
recommended for 6 days. So
Right.
again, do I think it's right? Again, no. But again, I'm just explaining why it came down to 6 days.
Yeah.
The Players Association actually agreed. They said if it's 6 days and not indefinite, because if they would have if they would have actually punished him a lot longer, they said they were ready to sue the NFL, right? And then this would
Right.
have been prolonged. It would have been prolonged. It would have taken a lot longer. It would have added to the issues. It would have created a way bigger, you know what I mean? Like, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
this was the recommendation, and so the NFL decided to go by the independent. We have to remember they also this is an independent review because
Right. Oh
NFL is
no,
trying to be
absolutely. Yeah.
they're trying to be transparent, right?
Well,
Similar to what happened with the Miami thing, that was also an independent investigation.
right.
I think I want people to understand that a lot of times, not just the NFL, but many companies, because they want to be
Right.
like, hey, just so you know, it's fair. They bring in
Uh,
independent people to come in and investigate and give their. And so the judge, she said she recommended 6 days, and so that's what the NFL decided to
yeah.
go with. And the Player Association said they wouldn't sue, that they agree with the 6 days. And so that's why Watson isn't fighting back, because he also could appeal. But basically,
Yeah.
everybody
It
said
gets 3 days
just
or
take the
something.
6.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, take the 6 days. And so
Yeah.
is it great? No, but he is getting something. I know it's not perfect, but unfortunately, it's not a perfect world, right, guys?
Yeah.
So,
Well, true.
um,
Unfortunately,
and
but
so
Handy, let me ask you this.
that's it.
Go ahead. Yeah. I want to ask you this because do you feel like? Because I kind of feel like the NFL in doing that, saying that, oh, we're going to have an independent review because they wanted to kind of sit back and be like, let me see what happens here. So we can be like, well, we side with her. Like, we thought this was this or this was that. Like, the NFL trying to come out squeaky clean on this, and I don't really think they do. Do you think the NFL should step in and actually give him a harsher sentence than the 6 games that he's gotten?
Um, well, the comparisons being made online. I'm preface by saying, the comparisons are being made. Like Josh Gordon is like he'll probably never play football again.
Right. Yeah.
But Josh Gordon did something that at that time was not only illegal, it was also against the league policy.
The league policy, correct.
Calvin Ridley, I don't know if the gambling itself was illegal, but the gambling was against the league policy.
Right.
There are certain types of there is a misconduct policy for the league, and I think that's where it gets sticky, because I don't think it's very definitive. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's some guys
There's
are getting
wiggle room in the rules.
some guys are getting 3 weeks, and some guys are getting 6 weeks, and some people
Right.
a whole season.
Right.
So I think that the NFL is going to try and ride this out and say, well, the judge said, this judge said, that judge said, the independent thing said, so hey. Do I think they should? Yeah. Do I think they will? Hell no, because they don't want to have to deal with a lawsuit. They don't want to have to deal with the lawsuit, because legally speaking, now that like Delilah said, you got 2 judges now. One judge said, I don't see anything wrong with it. The other judge said, yeah, what they said, and the NFL's not gonna touch that, since there's no criminal charges found anywhere, and I don't. The thing with the NFL though is the NFL is, I don't want to say caught between a rock and a hard place, but I can see that it's definitely going to, the optics of it are going to look really
right
to the female fans of NFL.
It's not good optics.
It's not good optics, because Ray Rice was not that long ago.
Correct.
Ray Rice was not long ago at all, and I mean there was a huge movement that women were going to like not go to games, not buy tickets, burning jerseys, the whole 9 yards. And NFL finally said, "Hey, Ray, just go ahead and give us your key card. You're done."
Right.
Now will it come? Go ahead.
So again, I'm not defending anybody, but the thing with him is he was caught on tape, right? Again, and that's really what it comes down to. Again, is the evidence. Apparently, even though these women came forward, it's still considered hearsay. They were the only 2 people in the room. There was no other piece of evidence. There was no tape. No one recorded it. No one was, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so because none of that evidence was there, and again, I'm not saying I don't believe these women. When 30 women come forward, obviously, even one of those women saying this happened is still wrong, right? So, but because again, they couldn't find, and again, this also happened outside of football, and I think that's also what a lot of really good analysts are saying is the issue with Calvin Ridley and Josh Gordon is that they actually broke an NFL rule, right? And again, it doesn't mean I agree with it, but again, they actually broke an NFL rule. You know what I'm saying? Like they broke an NFL rule versus this happened not. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It didn't happen like in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like so, it's just it's not.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the issue. I'm just
I know you're not.
I'm just laughing because
I'm looking at the comments too.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about another Ray who may or may not have broken a really big law, but there was no evidence to prove that he did, and he wound up going on to have a huge Hall of Fame career.
So that's what I'm saying. So again, that's really what it comes down to. Unfortunately, there was no concrete evidence, which is why the Attorney General in Texas tossed out the cases and why he didn't pursue. Because if they went to a grand jury, like, I don't know if people know the law. I'm a nerd. I'm sorry. I watch a lot, you have to prove to a grand jury that there's enough evidence that they can actually take it to trial. Do you see what I mean? If they don't have enough to convince a grand jury, they're not going to take it in front of them because they'll know the case will get tossed out. So again, that's really what comes down to. I know there's a lot of feelings around that, but that means like it's up to us. That means the NFL has to change a lot of their rules because again, it's an NFL rule, right? It's an NFL rule. So if we want some sort of like stiffer punishment, then that means that we have to force the NFL to put some sort of regulation in place more than what they already have, because they do have they already have certain things against, child abuse, domestic violence. They really do already have certain guidelines, but again, that's really what comes down to is the NFL has certain guidelines where it would warrant a longer game suspension. So here we are. He's out for 6 games. He's gonna sit out. Whether what that happens later for his legacy, I don't know. But he's out 6 games. And again, the Calvin Ridley situation and Josh Gordon's situation, as much as we hate it or not, they actually broke an NFL rule from which they actually have consequences for. Like actually listed. They tell players, you break this rule, this is what happens. And that's what happened. So agree with it or not, that's what happened.
But shoot, then maybe the NFL just needs to do like the military, come up with like I don't know if either of you, I don't know if either of you ever did any time in the military or were related to someone that did. But the military is regulated by a set of rules called the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and that is across the board the same for all 6 branches. Now I had to think about it because of Space Force, but it's the same across all. I'm sorry, I still can't say that without laughing, but it's for all 6 branches. It is exactly the same, and in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, there is one art, and each law is called an article. There is an Article 32. Article 32 is a catch-all. That means if there's nothing else in these other 31 that we can't get you with, we can just get you on this one for general misconduct.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think it as these. I think if the NFL is not going to be able to bear many more of things like this happening, where the legal system says, "Well, no, I don't." I literally, I have to, by the law, I don't have enough to take this to trial. Where the NFL says, I don't care what the court says. The general misconduct regulation of our conduct code says you are not playing for a year, or you're not playing for 2 years, or you're suspended indefinitely. And I think that's what the NFL is going to have to come up with, because it's not going to take too many. Because Ray Rice, them giving him a longer suspend, doing what they did to him was a knee jerk. Adrian Peterson, I'm surprised after all the hullabaloo after Adrian Peterson, he still got to come back and play.
He was still out though. He did, He was out for a while. So
yeah, I mean, he was out for a while, but I'm surprised they let him come back and play. Mike Vick, he came back, and there's people still mad. Mike Vick came back, got out of jail.
Yeah, there was plenty of people mad that he came back. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying he got out of jail, came back, played, and now is retired. And there are people that still will not go to Eagles games because the Eagles let Mike Vick come back and play, and he killed them.
Right. No, I know what you're saying. Right, exactly.
So my point in telling all of that is leading up to this is that there's not going to be too many more. What is it going to take? Like, there's going to be an incident where fans are in mass going to start going, I can't support this at all. Right. And that's when the NFL can't afford that. I mean, so the NFL, I foresee at some point the NFL is going to say, and it's going to be another knee jerk. There's going to be something, but it's going to be something big.
Yeah, I agree with Tina's 2 comments too. She's basically saying what you are. She's saying that there needs to be a guideline, like you said, like a catch-all, because just because it happened outside of NFL, property or whatever, there still should be something more. So, but I'm reading the comments, and she's agreeing with your idea.
Yeah, like seriously. I mean, I was with a guy in my platoon, and they were trying to get him on. I won't say which drug, but it was a drug. They were trying to get him on it because supposedly he popped hot, but and he was known for. There were people that said that supposedly they had purchased from, or they had hung out around and seen, but all of that was hearsay. But all they had was that he had just enough in his system to get detected. And so they didn't have anything to put it. They didn't have anything to put him out on. And right when he figured he was getting ready to get cut loose, they got him on an Article 32. Boom, put him out. See you later. Bye.
And there it is. Yeah. But I do want to thank you guys for that, because I mean, I appreciate both your answers. I think there's a lot there, and obviously the NFL needs to do a better job in general with these sorts of issues. And again, we know their track record. We know what's happened in the past. Again, you can with the, like you said, with the, well, they broke an NFL rule, but this and this, all those gray areas. I mean, you could step in here and do something. Like you said, they won't, but they certainly could, and I wish they would.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.